So before we get started today, there's good way to do this. Nothing great to talk about here. But rest in peace to Colby Cave. Passed away from a brain bleed in a coma. 25-year-old professional hockey player. He left a family and a wife, less than married for a year behind. Absolutely tragic. And he'll be dearly missed. So rest in peace, Colby Cave.
Yeah, absolutely. Rest in peace. Tragedy. Way too young, but definitely rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
The shot is Carolina. Hey, what do you say?
Talkin' Sauce, episode 59.
5'9".
What's up, fellas?
I made it to this one.
Jake,
Be out
you made
here.
it?
Barely.
Yep.
Just barely.
Yep. Just barely. How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Hanging in
Not too
there.
bad.
Happy Easter.
I'm social distancing with my friends.
Yeah.
6 feet, 6 inches, same thing, right?
Yeah. 6 feet more. 6 feet and like 10 inches.
Yeah. 12 if we're
fucking-
going by titles.
Hey. Scroll over there drinking fucking invisible juice potion.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
He was in that new Invisible Man movie.
Yeah, starred in it. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Straight out of Van
fucking-
Helsing.
I was a stunt double
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
Invisible Man.
Happy Easter to all you guys.
Yeah.
You guys got any Easter plans?
Doing it.
Calls with the fam.
Yeah, just
All
gonna be
the fam.
talking to family.
Yep.
Waiting
For
for-
sure.
About
Jesus
you?
to rise.
Yep, Jesus come back from the dead. To be honest, nah. I'll probably give the family a call.
Call my
Hit 'em
grandma. Call
Yeah,
mom.
talk to
I'm gonna eat
some
some
of them, but-
candy. I bought some candy yesterday.
Did you buy some
Nice.
candy?
Oh fuck yeah! Gotta eat some candy.
Megan was talking about it. She was like, "Oh, I didn't get you a basket or any candy or anything." I'm like, "I don't need that shit. You know what I mean? I don't really need it right now." I
That's
think everyone did
adorable.
just eat a bunch of candy. But what's your favorite Easter candy, Cody?
Dude, I'm a big Peeps fan, man. People like to hate on the Peeps, but I fuck with the marshmallow, dude.
Squirrel
Fuck
fucks
with
with
Peeps.
peeps.
I
Yeah,
fuck with
fuck
Peeps.
yeah.
You put them
Hell
in the
yeah.
microwave?
Nah,
I
that just
put 'em
seems
in
like
my- for a
really.
little bit.
How long?
Like a couple seconds.
All right.
I'm gonna keep it real, dude. Peeps are trash.
Peeps are trash. Yeah, I'm with
The
Jacob on this one.
the best Easter candy is definitely the Reese's eggs, which is kind of just cheating because it's a Reese's, but it's
Nah,
shaped
dude.
like an
On
egg.
that,
Did you
on
guys
that
get
same
the
vein. On
The
that same
Reese's
vein.
Pieces in the carrot.
The what?
Seen those? That it's like the bag looks like a carrot, but it's just filled with
Yeah,
Reese's pieces.
yeah.
Shit
Yo,
slaps.
yeah.
Or a Reese's bunny, a whole ass bunny
There you
made
go.
of
Bunny.
Reese's. Put that shit in the fridge. Oh baby, oh girl.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and point out the obvious. We got some good backgrounds going here, dude. I'm chilling in the gulag per usual. You know what I'm saying? Catch me in the gulag, fucking getting murked.
You did.
Fucking squirrel with the with the cane's background and fucking invisible, dude. Just straight broken. I love it. Jacob, I like that. You got a nice, really boring apartment looking background.
Dude.
This is really sick.
I had one, couldn't put it up. I found another one, didn't get it up in time, and now it feels like I'm
Well, you can
trying
still-
too hard.
You can still
So,
do it, dude. We can change
slap
it
it
up.
up
We
there.
can have fun with
No.
this.
No, it's like our Chell team, dude. When everyone else was rocking buckets, I had to take the bucket off. You know what I'm saying? Everyone took
He's
the
just a
bucket
rebel.
off. I put it back on.
Guy's just
Contrary
a
until
fucking
the day
rebel.
I die.
Man, so and speaking of Warzone, just mentioning the gulag, that shit's kind of just been taken over my life as far as entertainment goes. Jacob and I
Oh,
and
yeah.
James have been playing the shit out of that.
Oh yeah.
Fucking good game. Good.
Was I up till
enjoyable
like
game.
3 a.m. last night playing it? Maybe.
Yeah.
Did it
Hell yeah.
directly
That's why he-
contribute to me being late to the podcast?
That's why
Possibly.
you almost slept right through the pod, dude. But you're an,
Is it,
you're an
cross-platform?
American hero, so
Exactly.
priorities.
Is it cross-platform at all?
hmm
It
It
is.
It is.
Uh-oh.
So you're playing against those PC gamer pros, bro.
For real.
Well, so I could hop on the
Nice.
PlayStation if I get it fixed and play.
You could. Yeah, we'd have to figure out
Facts.
the chat. You know what I'm saying? Because I've learned the hard way. You can't invite people to a party if they're not on Xbox or whatever. But yeah, you can
Just get
definitely
on
still play
Discord
together.
or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it's Skype or whatever. Yeah, you can definitely still do it for sure. Made a couple buddies playing with James and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
How are James's friends, dude?
They're not bad. I mean, James isn't bad either for real. So he plays with some decent cats. You know what I'm saying?
Are you guys better at that than you are at chill?
No,
Right now, yes, very much. So.
I would disagree, but
I mean, that chill record's not looking great.
It's not looking
it's
great.
not. It's not.
It is, but
Right.
we have another game tonight. We'll go 2-6. We'll go 2-6
Okay.
hopefully. So it is what it is. Let's get right into it though. With it being episode 59, it only makes sense that we shout out the best 59 that we can think of, and that it's going to be our boy Chad LaRose,
AKA
Best.
Frodo.
Yeah. who's like what 5'9", 5'9" is the number. He's 5'9", little
He
guy.
he just looks just like Elijah Wood to me.
He
Big
does.
ass eyes. I don't know what it is.
He is for sure. One of my favorite former Hurricanes players, I think, just for a number of reasons. He's super energetic, super scrappy, good personality, loves to talk shit on the ice. I think if you look at some chirp compilations, you'll catch LaRose in a few of those. Got a mouth on him. Undrafted, he was signed by the Canes in 2003. And I found this out. He's the only player to ever be on the all Peter Karamos team. So he's played for teams owned by Peter Karamos his whole career through the OHL all the way up to the NHL.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. And then when he was on the OHL, he was with the nice. Well, there you go. When he was in the OHL, he played on the Plymouth Whalers, and he actually has that team record for the most goals in one season: 67 goals in 61 games. So shouts out that for sure. Won the Cup in 2006 with Carolina, as we know, Stanley Cup champion. And then he played down in Charlotte several years later in 2014, 2015. Actually got to follow him after a game they played in Charlotte. App had a game at Bojangles Arena. Got to watch the Checkers play. He was on the team then and got to step on the ice after. So I followed your boy LaRose, dude.
Nice, dude.
Big moment for me, boys.
I was looking at something the other day, and it was NHL Network did a day in the life of LaRose thing during the 2009 season. So it showed him pulling up to, at that time, RBC Center, getting in the locker room and stuff. But he was talking about for some of the games, especially I guess during that time period, the 2009 season, he said that he would pull up and there would be people tailgating before he got to the game. And the first few times it happened, he thought that he was late to the game. Hilarious, yeah. And then it shows him going in the stadium, and he's going through the locker room, and they're just talking to random people. And he goes, "Oh, there's Rod over there," and it just shows in, and he's the only person in the gym working out, and they just pan show him, and then just keep walking.
I love that.
Some things never change, dude.
Yeah. The Rose there he is. Fuck going in there. Keep moving.
Don't want to make me look bad.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, the big shouts out LaRose for sure, dude. What else, boys? Anything on LaRose? I had something else.
Just watch him skate there at the end, dude. Bent over in the 90-degree angle, just at the waist, all in the legs.
Mm-hmm.
All heart, all effort.
Oh, for real. That was
Definitely.
top line LaRose, dude. Remember those days? Eric Stahl, Chad LaRose, and
What a time.
And now
Nowhere
I was going
else.
to say too, being an undrafted player, definitely grinded his way through to the NHL. Got himself by the end of it, I think he had a nice little 2-year, $3 million contract, something like that. By the time it was all over, so you earn a little coin. Grinding his way through, dude. Shouts out LaRose, boys.
Shouts out LaRose.
Definitely a fan favorite.
Yeah. Moving on. Speaking of the Hurricanes, I think probably the biggest piece of news regarding them, and as no surprise given the amount of time to recover, Dougie's back, ready to go.
Yeah, it's great.
And seeing him on some social media, boots off, he's up and about. Haven't seen too much of him physically, but you know what I'm saying. He's definitely out here. He's out here ready to go, boys. You guys stoked?
Well, we I guess we say he's ready to go, but we can't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine he's been on the ice too much lately. So
no, I don't think anyone
he's,
has.
Right. So I guess he's better in that sense. But I mean, is he ice ready? I doubt it.
I think maybe at a minimum, if there were ice to skate on, he could do it. He probably has a lot of conditioning and stuff, as most of these guys do, since having taken breaks, and anyone else coming back from an injury would need to kind of get conditioned. But I think he's cleared. If the league was playing right now, he would be playing. I think is kind of the consensus.
Yeah.
Is there any issues with taking someone off LITR during the season like that? Cap
You
issues?
just have to be cap compliant. Is going to be. I don't know where we're at, but that'd be the only issue.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that would have to work. Because given to all the cap that we added in his absence,
Right.
I think that's the whole thing. Is we added all that cap with the inclination he was not going to be returning.
Exactly.
So, you know what I mean? It definitely, man, and just so many unknown scenarios that are created from this whole thing, dude. It's absolutely bonkers.
But I do think Don had said back when we did make all the moves and stuff, because even at that time it was a possibility Dougie could be back for the playoffs. He did say we would be able to make getting Dougie back work with all the he said we could make all the numbers work. So
I trust him.
Interesting.
Yeah, I trust them. They're the experts, right?
mhm.
Also, too, the Hurricanes, they're always doing things on social media to kind of keep fans engaged, keep them entertained. They dropped some Zoom backgrounds. We're not using any of them at the moment.
We're bad fans.
Yeah, not that big of fans.
Yeah.
But they're available. They're available for download. People use them for their online classes, stuff like this, just chilling with the family. It's good shit for sure. I'm trying to think of what they were. I know one's like the PNC ice with the stadium backdrop. I think one's the locker room. Probably
one is the very similar to the picture that we took, the Pride Night one. The outside with all the lights, like the different rainbow lights. That was one of them.
Very cool, very sick. That's for sure. That'd be a dope one.
Squirrel, is the one that you're using on there, or did you just find that random logo?
This I just had. It was on my laptop already.
Oh, okay.
Squirrel's like, what do you mean? This is just what things look like.
This is welcome to my world.
Yeah.
This is life through my eyes.
This is actual magic. What are you talking about? And speaking of the Canes doing entertainment, we talked last week. They had the call with Tripp and some of the guys. They did another one. They released it in parts on Twitter. I'm sure the full version will be up on YouTube at some point. But they released it in parts on Twitter. It had Tripp obviously hosting. Edmondson was on there. Shea was on there, and Trocheck. So kind of some of the new guys.
Yep.
You guys have a chance to check that out at all?
Yeah, it was good. I wouldn't have pegged a lot of our players as like country music fans, but it seems like that's like the majority of what they listen to, which was interesting.
That is interesting, yeah, for sure. Especially given, I just think of guys like Marty doesn't really come off as a big country music guy, but I could be dead ass wrong.
That was going to be my first guess for most of those guys is country music.
I would say for Marty maybe. But
I don't think country music's uncommon in the NHL. I think a lot of guys in the NHL fuck with country music as a whole. But yeah, there's probably definitely certain teams that have that, a majority taste and maybe won't lean towards country for sure. Certain locker rooms, probably Vegas. Vegas probably doesn't fuck with any country.
Yeah, there's rednecks up in Canada too. You know what I'm saying? That love the
fucking X. And there's a big difference too between like American country music and like Canadian folk country music.
Oh,
there's
for sure.
There's a fine line.
But that mainstream pop country is ubiquitous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you want to talk about some affluent white families love? It's mainstream pop country.
That Florida Georgia line.
Yeah.
Florida Georgia line.
It's the Florida Georgia line.
Some of the highlights from that call though that kind of had me cracking up. Eddie's got trash internet. I don't know if this guy's using fucking Spectrum or what the fuck he's got going on. Dude. He's got to get his shit together.
He's using his neighbor's Wi-Fi. He's still hooking up to Fetch's Wi-Fi or something, dude.
Hook me up with that password.
Yeah, for real. That's hilarious. And one thing I thought was kind of funny or telling about the whole team is they asked him, like, what did some of the guys do to help make you feel comfortable? And they're like, oh, well, Marty's pregame rituals, Marty this, Marty that. Martin looks such an important part of that team's chemistry as far as locker room gelling.
For real.
I think that's why he was, deserving of that A. When we were having all those conversations when he first got it about, was he the right person? I think that, just that call shows that he probably was.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, that
great locker
totally
room
does.
presence.
And two, asking these guys being new to the area, they're asking them, how's Raleigh treating you? What are some of your favorite things to do? And a couple of them haven't had the full chance to explore it, but in that short time they've been here, they definitely have. I've already, started to find a love for the area. They feel like it's very homey with them all being from different parts of the country, parts of Canada for that matter too. They feel there's parts of Raleigh that remind them of their home. Which is very telling for this area too. It's a big reason why a lot of people like to move here, right? Weather's nice. There's a lot of land, very homey feeling.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was interesting.
Cool. Nice
Trocheck was talking about like going on bike rides and stuff like that. And I was like, I wonder if anybody recognizes him at this point.
I feel like next to no chance, honestly.
Well, so he was doing that, and then he was talking about putting a tarp up on his garage and shooting pucks. And I was like, well, maybe if he's doing that, somebody would recognize him.
Yeah. Who's that average Joe just blasting pucks at their garage? The NHL hockey player. One thing
he was wearing that nice Whalers lid too.
He was. One thing that had me dying was Mark Stahl. Mark Stahl had a question for Brady. He was like, "Hey, are you taking care of those gray hairs you got?" So apparently, he's totally threw him under the bus and caught him off guard. And he was like, "Oh man, that's good shit." Just still his old teammate giving him shit, a Stahl brother.
For real.
I thought that was pretty good. Another thing too that Tripp had mentioned, in knowing Rod really well, I'm sure if it was up to Rod, he would probably have surveillance inside everyone's homes to kind of just keep an eye on, want to see what they're doing for a workout wise. He's probably texting them, giving them calls like, "Hey, staying in shape."
Sending out Zoom invites. He's just sending out Zoom invites. He's on the Peloton when it comes on. He's like, "What's up? What are you guys doing, huh?"
"What's up, pussies?"
6 a.m. I'll see you on the bike.
Absolutely,
God, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Dude, I legit think though that Tripp would he would stay quarantined for the rest of his life if he could do these calls every week, because he seems like he's having so much
For
fun
sure.
doing them.
They should keep him going, dude.
Yeah,
honestly, maybe
They
not
probably
as
will.
frequently, but having once a month, once every couple months or something, just drop a little Zoom interview, a little behind the scenes with the players. Let us do it, Have all four of us. We'll bring on 4 Canes players.
Cody with that background.
Cody with that background. See if they're men of culture. Yeah. Got to see if they're men of culture.
For sure. Also, too, with some more hurricane stuff, ESPN put out an article, a little short article talking about, the way the Hurricanes specifically are preparing and planning for any sort of return for the NHL. One of the first parts, they had mentioned they have 3 plans, and they're kind of obvious, but one being, okay, we'll return with no fans, we'll return with limited fans, or it's just full on, we're back, ready to go full swing.
How limited of fans would
50.
it be for you guys to go?
For me to go? I guess
how many people per section?
The first caveat that's important, I think, is what is that limit going to be? Is it going to be 2,000, 5,000? So
that's what I'm saying. So for you, I mean, we all know what a general section in PNC looks like. How many people are you okay with being in your?
I guess that's a good question. I mean, once I'm able to go to a game, I think I'm going to have already shaken off that fear of what could go wrong, if that makes any sense. So if they're allowing people back in, I'm going to trust the powers that be that it's all good. So if they're letting people in the door, I'm back, I guess. You know what I mean? But as Cody would say, I'm not going to stay all 3 periods, but I'm going. You know
well, you can't sit there for the full gestation period. You know what I'm saying? If you get out early, you can't get the virus. That's how.
If they start, Cody, if they started today, I'm calling fake news. I'm saying. No
well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, at some point, it's a money thing too for them. They want to do it as soon as possible. So that's why I don't know if I trust that as the health standard.
And that speaks to what we were saying a lot last week. Jacob brought that up, where even when it's ready to go, people are going to be skittish. I mean, I'm definitely, probably of the 4 of us, I'm definitely a bit of a paranoid type of individual. Again, of the 4 of us, so I mean, I'll be skeptic, but I don't know, man. When it's ready to go, it's ready to go. I think what's going to happen though is, regardless of people's interest, that limited cap of people they can have is what would be the most deciding. So you got 2,000 people. Okay, well, all the season ticket holders are part of that priority.
I was gonna say it's got to be season ticket members,
right? So it's going to be interesting, and if it does come back in a limited capacity, who's even able to get in the door? And there's going to be a waiting.
Are people going to scalp those tickets for triple, quadruple the price just because it's so limited?
Smart.
If
they're smart.
It's nuts.
That's a really good point. But one of the woes that Waddell spoke about in the article was the last 14 games of the season, 8 of those were home, 20% of their home games, which is a big number. I mean, that's a lot of revenue income just gone, absolutely wiped if they don't get to play those games, which hurts. And obviously the team's been doing better attendance-wise and all that, but they're still up and coming as far as generating all those people, all that revenue. So this hurts.
And that's also, not only is that 20 or 8 games of revenue missed out on, that's also a bunch of games that they have to pay that full staff too. So it is a bit, I mean, there's a lot of money that's going out the door.
Yep. Which is why
they should pay the full staff. That's not what I'm saying, but it is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. They have to, exactly. They should pay them, and it's a lot of money they got to make up to do that. And they got to get it from somewhere. And if they're not playing those games eventually, it's all coming out of people's pockets, and they're going to want that money back. That's why my hope, when everything comes back to normal, spending's up. Hopefully.
Yeah. Time
Look,
to bring the storm surge to the beginning too. You know what I'm saying? Get the fans in the seats from very beginning to very end, dude.
They're going to have like
spend all the money.
semi-pro type
Yeah.
promotions where the players are just doing
Yeah.
ridiculous shit to get everybody involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to say something, Cody?
Yeah, no, forgot.
Lost it.
Yep, lost it.
It's all good. Yeah, so it's just wild. And shouts out the Hurricanes trying to be prepared. They're doing what they can to kind of.
I think we were the first team to come out and like say that we had a plan and that like we're ready to go or something like that. We were like one of the first teams to come out and say something, which I thought was interesting.
Well, I also think too, and I'm not sure why, and we'll get into this too in a bit, but I think the Carolina Hurricanes are one of the teams or one of the states, being North Carolina, is one of the possible spots for sites that are like a neutral location if games are to start. Yeah, I saw a couple of little things, nothing too specific or anything like source worthy, but like they're talking about the different places where it could be. Of all the current NHL markets, Carolina, I guess, is one of those where it could happen, or it would, of anywhere where it would possibly make sense. We're not New York, we're not California.
Right. But I mean, would Carolina be a neutral site? That's why I thought they were going to put it out in North Dakota or, bump up.
Well, that would be full neutral, right? I guess the idea is that neutral in the sense that it's a location where teams like California teams, like New York teams could come to and play each other and have some neutrality. I think.
I wonder if they would play those games here and they would make the Canes go out and play somewhere else.
And I think that was the sentiment. I think that was kind of what it was getting at. But I don't know. It's a very interesting concept to me. And I guess we'll kind of just jump right into it. It doesn't make much sense, the whole neutral site thing. If there's a place to play, there's a place to play. Like I don't think the virus isn't biased to North Dakota versus here. I know there's less population density.
Right?
Yeah, but I mean,
but what's your problem with
right?
it? Yeah, but like I mean,
I just don't see how it's gonna. I just don't think it's going to actually work. I don't think you're going to prevent anyone from getting sick by doing it sooner there versus here, wherever that is. To me, it's like if shit's ready to come back, it's ready to come back. If it's not, it's simply not.
It's a similar idea to the whole firefight island shit. I mean, you're bringing everybody who is tested negative to an area where other people have tested negative. So, I mean, you're still, I don't know. I mean, I understand it's definitely different. There's still a lot of people and, stuff like that. But I would say that having it out there is better than having it here. Personally.
But you got to think that it's probably, if they do it that way, probably going to be a no fan event. You have to have a building that's set up for good broadcasting. You have to have a building that's already has all the cameras, all the infrastructure, and all that stuff. So,
and I guess that's kind of what I'm saying. If there's no fans, what's the difference then? You should be able to do it at Madison Square Garden. If there's zero fans, there's zero fans in North Dakota. Literally, it's just you're just deciding. You're just. It's like this illusion that because it's a state where no one lives, there's just lower risk. But that's not how.
I think it's more about just being neutral. I think it's more just about like. I mean, you're not going to play it at MSG because then all the northern teams have a bias up there.
Well, there's that. There's also a stadium like PNC. You can get in with having almost no contact with anybody too. You know what I'm saying? You can send one car to pick guys up, driving right in the bottom of the building. Whereas some of those bigger places, there's just a lot more traffic, other stuff to deal with. Probably not now with all the social distancing, but there's just a lot of general space down here would be my thought behind it.
That makes sense too.
I guess my whole thing just goes back to, and again, I'm a proponent of just canceling the whole season anyway.
I think we all are, but they probably can't say that for their just because people need to keep clicking on their like NHL's articles. They need as much attention as they can get right now, not playing games. So
it just seems forced. Yeah. It would just seem forced, and it doesn't make that much sense to me at the end of the day. Yeah, there's definitely, you're right, Cody, about the neutrality. For sure. If you're going to do it that way, a place like North Dakota or Idaho or somewhere would make the most sense. But at the same time, man, I think it's going to end up fucking up the rest of the seasons from there on.
Yeah.
But
I guess it makes the most sense to scrap everything, but I'm just not ready to give up hope yet.
No, I feel you.
Keep it up.
I want everything to go back to normal.
Yeah. Same. Big same. All right, for this next bit, we're going to bring on Chris from @HockeyNC. He helped us set up the Cancellation Cup tournament. We're talking to him.
The App alum too, right?
I think so.
Hey, good shit.
We'll find out. All right. So welcome, Chris from @HockeyNC, man. Good to talk to you. Good to see you.
How you doing?
What up?
Doing good.
How's it going, man?
Doing good, man. Chris is a huge part of the Cancellation Cup tournament. He was kind of the main figurehead, kind of getting it going, bringing us all together to get it started. What I know you and I kind of talked behind the scenes about stuff like this, but what was your whole motivation for kind of getting this whole thing going?
Mainly just to have something competitive to go on while all the CV is happening, and standing for that original idea that you guys had about doing some type of tournament, and then maybe trying to do something over the summer, but because obviously everything's on lockdown, figured try to do it while everybody's at home on their Xboxes. So, and for me to get back into something type of competitive, because I used to play adult hockey for a while, but then I couldn't afford it, so I stopped playing. And I was actually kind of like trying to get back into shape for that. But now that nothing's going on, might as well get something kind of like a pseudo adult league going.
Get your thumbs in shape, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It definitely was a
hear that.
perfect time for it. I know we were trying to put something out a little bit like later in the future to have something, like you said, in person. But I mean, this was I guess us being all quarantined was the perfect time to kind of rush that and do it now.
Yeah, and we've said it before. Big shout out to Kane Stats too for helping you out and helping us all out, getting it going, setting it up, collecting stats and things like that. And it's great how it's kind of worked out. You know what I mean? It came together pretty easy in the end, I think.
Yeah, I was actually surprised too. I mean, obviously Kane Stats is the stats guy, and I'm kind of the biggest surprise I have is the amount of seriousness of some of the teams are taking it, or at least on my end. We don't practice every day, but we discuss tactics, and we're trying to figure out lineups and switching stuff up. And well enough, our teams are kind of at the bottom of this little league, and we're struggling. But we're trying to figure out our ways that we can take out for the troops and Kane Stats, so we can try to not have to be in the play-in game at the end of the season.
For sure, and yeah, it's all good fun for sure. Our teams are definitely struggling. You guys took it to us too. With young Pierre is amazing too. That guy's so good.
Yeah,
he's really, really good at shell. Yeah, I think we're just 1-5 now. We finally beat For the Troops the other day in a double overtime.
OT?
Good for
OT
you.
win?
Yeah, super, super stressful. And it
Needed
came
that.
down to us having the game-winning goal, and then them tying it with less than 24 seconds. And then I think I tied it with less than 3 to OT, and then Anuna ended up winning it for us, in double OT or something like that. It's so stressful.
Oh, I bet. And then they took their anger out on us, and we got stopped by 5.
What's your guys' record under review? What's the record for you guys?
We have, we've played 6 games, and we have 2 wins and 4 losses. Both our wins came against you guys, sadly.
Damn, dude. Damn.
I know our only
That's
win's
good.
an OT win too, and and go ahead if you would, man. Kind of explain the point system. I know it's a little different to what the NHL would be, but if you want to go ahead and explain that, the teams and all that.
Yeah, it's the system I prefer. It's what a lot of international leagues and the IIHF use for the World Championships. So the 3-2-1-0 system effectively. So 3 points for a win, 2 points to win in an OT or shootout, 1 point if you lose an OT or shootout, and then 0 points for a loss in regulation.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if the NHL switched to something like that. I don't think anyone would be mad at it. I might prefer it even for sure.
Yeah, it brings a lot more intensity to games because when you're both playing for 2 points and then you tie, and then you go into overtime and shootout, all of a sudden there's an extra 3rd point out of nowhere that everybody's playing for. So everybody's getting points. But if you did a 3-2-1 system, that win definitely means more in regulation than it would in OT. So
Yeah, and I feel like
fighting for a win.
I feel like with that 3-2-1 in the NHL, it seems like a good idea, but if you get halfway through the season, there are going to be so many more teams that are just completely eliminated, way earlier into the season and not have that chance.
It would kind of separate the parity, but I think also too the league's getting more and more tight parity wise. I mean, teams are so much closer. Races are a lot tighter. You still have those strict bottom feeders, But like every playoff race is so competitive, it would definitely probably distance that gap for teams that could continuously just get those 3-point wins.
Right.
I mean, imagine like a team like the Boston Bruins who dominate and have so many overtime losses, and because of that, they get a lot of extra points. They would be worth less if other teams were getting 3 points over those one, just piling up those 1 point losses.
Right.
But,
how many points would you not be getting if you kept going to overtime? What is it, Columbus this year? How many times did they go to overtime before everything stopped? Like 27 times?
It was nuts. Let me see. I was actually looking at that the other day.
Because that's a lot of points lost if you keep going to overtime.
So they've been 15. 15 losses in overtime.
That's still a lot.
So that's not
lot.
even including their wins. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know the Bruins are another one too. They spend a lot of time in overtime. I feel like when teams get there, they can kind of take it easy and maybe let it go to the shootout. It's just less, like you're saying, it'd be way more intense if there was that third point you were fighting for. Definitely.
Yeah. And it probably would appease a lot of people that are kind of like diehard anti-shootout people.
Right.
You would still have the shootout, which people that love it will continue to love, but you also have that added ability or incentive to get that extra point, which everybody else would like.
Right.
Yep. So in the league we're doing, it's the 3-point win system, and then there's 5 teams total. Am I missing any? 5? Yep. 5 of us. So our team, Raleigh Furtick, Chris's team, Under Review, Kane Stats team, Kane Stats, Carson's team, For the Troops, Pat's team, Raleigh Rebellion. Right.
Yep.
So is it For the Troops is the leading team right now, correct?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. That's the one team we beat, so we're pretty stoked on that. To take out the number 1 seed.
Take that W.
One dub.
Craziest group too, because they literally some of their guys would go into everybody's streams and start talking a bunch of crap while the game's going.
You gotta love it,
dude. You gotta occupy that headspace.
For real.
Yeah.
It's a mental game.
Mm-hmm.
People's heads, probably 1 or 2 guys, or at least one guy in mine. So
yeah. When's and I know we got games tonight. I think we're playing Kane Stats tonight at 9. How many games do you guys have today?
I think we have 2. We have. Let me check. Actually, I have it. I'm old school and new school. I actually have it written down on a piece of paper here.
Look at the organization. I love it.
I know. So you guys are facing Kane Stats tonight. That's the only game you guys have. Raleigh Rebellion's facing Florida Troops and my team Under Review. Yep. And then we face Kane Stats tonight and Raleigh Rebellion. And Florida Troops only has Rebellion. And Kane Stats facing Under Review and Raleigh Florida. I know now it's all being redundant, but yeah. So some teams every night will have 2 games and some teams will have 1. The last night of the season, there's going to be 6 games being played. So every team will either have 2 or 3 games to play.
Mm-hmm.
And that was going to be my next question is when, and not that I want it to end, but when's the regular season part of this end and we get into the tournament elimination part?
The last games of the season will be on April 19th. And then we go, I think that's, and then the next game night,
Should be next Sunday.
Would be, yeah, I think so. Will be the play-in game, so there will only be 1 game that day. And then they'll have the semifinals the next game night, which will be a best of 3. And then the winners of those 2 will face in a championship, which will be a best of 3. And then the losers of the semifinals will face each other in a 1-game consolation game for 3rd place.
Perfect. Yeah. Super excited for that. And hopefully, despite the seeding, when we get into those playoff matchups, all bets are off and we'll be competitive again. So for sure. I also too, kind of moving on from the tournament, thanks for explaining everything that I can't these past few weeks because I'm too ignorant. I want to talk about your Twitter account and that brand Hockey and C. Kind of how'd you get that started? How long have you been doing that? And kind of what was the motivation there to kind of pull all these different North Carolina hockey organizations into one sort of umbrella?
Well, I've been running an account for almost 2 years. And so a lot of it is, just me retweeting and commenting on stuff because I don't do any serious promotion of it. And I grew up I'm originally from Canada, but I moved down here when I was 3 years old, and I grew up playing youth hockey in North Carolina when the only available rinks were the Ice House and every once in a while Dorton Arena when the Ice Caps were around. And having to travel, and it's just for this area in the Raleigh area, but then having to travel all the way to the Greensboro or to Hillsboro to play those teams. And just, kind of reminiscing about it, like, you know, how many people really know about this stuff goes on? We got a lot of people interested in hurricanes, but how many people really know that there's other professional teams, or even like for my discovery, I didn't even realize like 2 years ago that there was even junior teams to go see. And so it's all about raising awareness. Like there's a ton of hockey going on around here and in different parts of the state, and that people need to go and support it. Like either, you know, if you're a parent, have your kid, like read up on these different organizations, see which one fits your kid. Or if you're like I said, if you want to go check out different hockey, I mean, whether or not that's free, and go into like youth hockey games, or if you have to pay some money to go see junior hockey or college hockey or minor pro, you can do that too.
Yeah, I can say for myself, I've definitely through the different leagues and the teams I've seen you kind of retweet and promote and stuff like that. I learned about different organizations and different teams that are in North Carolina. I never probably would have heard of myself. And also to the youth side, definitely I've seen you promote some different youth organizations. That's huge. I mean, especially in the South. I know it's growing in this state. It has ever since the Canes won in 06 is when it's definitely boomed. But the youth game's growing huge here, and I think, you know, it's in part to people like you who are helping promote that in any way possible, letting people know where it's available, which is sick. I mean, that's what it's all about for sure, getting young kids involved.
And part of it was also like my influence. So there's like a 5-year gap of me not living in North Carolina, and I lived in Arizona. And so what blew me out of the water is how much people are really into hockey out in Arizona, despite all the crap, even at that time, that people were giving about the Phoenix Coyotes. And like just looking out there, like there's an entire adult hockey organization that literally does like pickups every weekend. And at some point, I think I had like 3,000 or 5,000 members a part of it.
Wow.
And like all the rinks there, with the exception of like I think one, has like 2. It's like a double rink, kind of like how Wake Forest is.
The factory, yeah.
Yeah, and if they had when I was there, I played 1 year of high school hockey. Like they had a full blown high school league with like 3 divisions, like 2 varsity and a JV. And when I got back here, you know, continue playing, midget hockey, and I played adult league. But then like a couple years ago, I decided like, you know, how much is there out there compared to what it was when I was a kid? And
Right.
there's more, but I want to be able to see more, but there's a lot of obstacles and stuff right now, just because, you know, a lot of kids are playing, you know, these different levels of hockey, but they're not playing specific things. Like there's not really any high school hockey here. There's a high school league in this area for roller hockey, but there's not one for ice hockey. And it'd be kind of sweet to have that, but like a lot of kids are already playing travel and junior hockey. So, and high school hockey would be contact, and I think house leagues now are not contact. So,
oh wow, house league was contact when I played in high school.
Yeah, it was with me. I was in house hockey. I mean, my dad was a coach, but we never had the money to afford to play travel. So there's always house leagues.
Didn't have the money or the skill, personally.
Dude, I had the speed, but my dad would always say I have hands of stone, and I would have to agree. I can't save my life, but I can hate you if I want to.
And it's a steep drop off too, I think, between like the house and the talent and the travel leagues. These kids now, especially too, whenever I would go to stick and pucks, you got, 10, 11-year-olds out there just zooming. And it's crazy how the skill, and speaking towards Arizona and the growth of the game out there, it's a good thing for a guy like Austin Matthews being from that area too. I think his emergence is going to definitely cause a huge spike in youth hockey out that way.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like we just need somebody here to be the same. I mean, the first player I know that came out of North Carolina that made it to Angel was Patrick O'Sullivan, but he didn't do a whole lot.
Josh Wesley.
Yeah, but Josh Wesley, he's like in the ECHL. And I'm not he's a pro player. I mean,
right.
And even those guys can outskate me, because that's one of the stories I've pushed to help when I lived out in Arizona. Right before I moved back here, we were playing, the organization is called Hacker Hockey. That was when I was setting up like all the adult pickups at different rinks. One of the last games I got to play, I was playing on a line, and they do this. There was line 1, line 2. Line 1 was all the higher skill guys. Line 2 is all to like kind of like intro guys or whatever. So you weren't having like, if you ever play pickup where you have guys that have a lot of skill just skating circles around a guy that's just trying to learn. So they prevented that. But playing on a line with my dad, Claude Lemieux, and his 2 sons. And Claude Lemieux is like a year or two away from a year or two after retirement, and we all know he's not the most skillful player, but he was the fastest guy on the ice.
Wow, that's
bet.
sick.
That's
I know,
crazy.
that's crazy. It's funny too. You talk about that, like a guy who's not as skilled in the NHL, and then you see him, in person playing with more average Joes, and it's just night and day difference, right?
And these average Joes are A-League, adult league players, and and they have a lot of experience, but he's outplaying them. Like I never skated so hard in my life.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And kind of too, sort of moving on. And thanks for talking about everything that you do and everything that you bring to the table as far as social media and stuff like that. Bringing different parts of the Carolina hockey organizations into sort of one umbrella. What are you doing during this whole quarantine pandemic time to kind of keep yourself busy? Aside from this tournament, what are some of your other hobbies that you're kind of using to keep yourself sane?
The funny part is, I don't know about you guys, but I actually do have to venture out to work because I work at a restaurant and it does mostly takeouts. I have to be out there working, but when I'm at home and I'm not having to do anything, I'm either playing on the Xbox, usually NHL when we're doing our practice, but a lot of the Outer Worlds, so which is fun. So if you don't like, say, Borderlands 3, and you want to play something similar to like Fallout because it's made by the city and did Fallout New Vegas, that's a good compromise right there. I'm also doing a lot of reading and just listening to a ton of music and watching a lot.
Nice.
For sure. Fuck Borderlands 3. But Chris, man, thank you so much for your time, dude. Guys, do you have any other questions for him?
I can't. So you're a App alumni too, right?
Yes,
Awesome. What year did you graduate?
2012.
Awesome. Yeah, that's nuts. Josh and I obviously both went to App as well. So good shit.
Cody's the only
Yeah.
one of us with a diploma. I always make sure to make that known. I didn't fully graduate. I don't have my degree, but I did spend some time there. I love Boone. I love that.
I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, Josh.
That's the place I
I'll do it
wish I had.
myself.
That's too football mad there. Like I was going to try to be on the App State hockey team, but when I found out at the time that their practices and home games were Indian Wells, I'm like, I'm not going to do the hours worth of driving
Right.
just this.
I played for a season and it absolutely tanked my academics. It was a lot of fun, and the most frustrating part was probably the diversity and skill. Even though it was cool to kind of show new guys, kind of how to play competitively and stuff like that. It was tough to have a full team together of guys who most of them didn't really play. And when you got against teams that did know what they were doing, it was an absolute shit show. But
Yeah,
I got a
that's
jersey out of it.
Yeah, and those jerseys are nice. That was like, was it this year High Point faced somebody, and I can't even remember who it was. And this is Division III ACHA, it's same as App, and they destroyed somebody like 20-0 or whatever. And I talked to the guy on Instagram that runs their Instagram, and I was like, I wasn't giving him crap or anything. I just mentioned, I was like, I forget what I said, but he said you can only do so much passing in a game. So they're literally skating circles around those guys, and just they weren't trying to blow up the score, but you can only do so much.
For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Chris, man, I really appreciate it, dude. It was good talking to you. We'll definitely do this again sometime.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
All right. So we just talked to Chris from at Hockey NC. That was a good little conversation. Cody was in that conversation, jumped out. Jacob's back in.
So it'll be new to me when I listen to it back. You know what I'm saying?
All kinds of
Shouts out,
order
Chris.
switching.
Yeah,
Just changing
making
the
sure
whole
our
shit
fans are
up.
paying attention.
Keep them on their toes, boys.
Exactly.
Keep them on their
Gotta
toes.
keep them on their toes. Let me pull this shit back up here. My schedule closed out on me, and now I don't have it up. And we are all fucked up here.
But that's at Hockey NC on Twitter, right?
Yep,
That's where
at
you
Hockey
find
NC
him.
on Twitter. Yep, and
At Hockey
we'll,
NC on Instagram too, I believe.
sure, and we'll post his personal Twitter as well.
Yeah.
When we tweet this shit out. But yeah, and we were kind of already talking about it too before Cody hopped off. The idea of the league going to neutral sites.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not too, obviously, from the conversation we just had, I'm not too up on where and how it would really exactly work, but
Yeah.
they're just trying to do what they can to see if they can make the league start. I know from a conversation that Bill Daly from the PA had with certain media groups, they know for a fact nothing's, they're not going to open any facilities by May 1st. So that's already a benchmark to know that things are going to have to happen after that. But he is still hopeful that the season can be completed. However that's going to work, he's hopeful. I mean, that's really all you can kind of work with there,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess we'll just see what happens, man. It's really interesting. I don't know. To me, it just keeps going back to you gotta cancel it so the rest of the seasons themselves can thrive at their best.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't want to compromise the future of the competition of the sport just for this one
Yeah.
season. It's bigger than that.
Yeah. But I
It's
guess
way
in the
bigger
way
than
they look at it is, they also don't want to compromise the financial standing of future seasons either. You know what I'm saying? With all
Yeah.
the potential hits that could come from this, which I understand, but it's like,
It's such a double-edged sword.
yeah.
It's just like everyone's taking hits right now,
Yeah.
and that's just how it's got to be. And
Yeah.
I agree with you a lot, Josh. It's way more about the longevity of future seasons of the game, of the sport, of the players, and
And it's a very isolated perspective. And when I say that too, I'm not talking about the financials, and it's a very important part that needs to be considered. I'm just talking about the pure competition. And I guess I'm thinking of it as best I can from the player's perspective of wanting to play and them getting the most out of the game that they grew up and wanted to play as a pro. Like, you know what I mean? This is as them as athletes, this in that regard, it's about them 100%, where, they're giving it their all. They're the ones putting their physical bodies on the line, whether it's at risk to get sick or at risk to get injured. You want to give them the best setup to have their fair shot to prove themselves, whether it's for future contracts, getting, landing on a team they want to play for, even going all the way down to junior systems. You want these kids to be able to give, the best shot to make a NHL team. You could fuck that up if you force them to play games where they're not going to have the best showing. I guess that's kind of where I'm coming from, but I don't know.
no, I agree.
Also, too, there's something else to all that. My fucking brain scattered like a motherfucker. What were we saying?
We were talking about the not messing up future seasons and stuff.
For sure.
Just got to shut it down.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's pretty much where we were at with it.
I don't know, dude. It's all fucked up. But speaking of shit getting shut down, I think we were stoked on the idea of UFC 249 happening. And just as soon as we said there was a way, like the next day, I think it came out. And at first we weren't totally sure, at least I wasn't. And then quickly you could see that ESPN, which really means Disney, put their foot down and was like, nah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
Saving themselves from public backlash, especially if you're Disney. The money they're making off of UFC it's probably not even top 5, maybe not even top 10 revenue streams for Disney. So they looking to save face for the rest of the company and just shutting it down. It sucks. It really, 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 really sucks. I'm interested now to see because, Khabib had been replaced on the card with Gaethje. I'm interested now to see, like, if they push it back for another 6 months.
If Khabib will be back on?
Yeah, if they're going to put Khabib back on or still give it to Gaethje or, because Khabib recognizes or goes through Ramadan. I'm not sure what the proper verbiage there is, but so that's a big thing too. But
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see what they're going to do with it moving forward, but it sucks they shut it down. That could have been a national moment. That could have been – it's a live event happening at a certain time, the only sport's happening. The entire internet would have been watching that, commenting on that, reacting to that. It would have been kind of cool to see. Yeah,
I mean, look just what happened with WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Being a no-fan live event, people who could not give a fuck about wrestling were tuning in. It was all over ESPN. It was all over fucking internet. This would have been twice as big.
Yeah.
Just with the outreach and the global phenomenon of MMA versus, American wrestling. It would have been huge. You're right. It would have been absolutely monumental. But again, and these people who canceling it, avoiding public backlash, but also at the same time, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, it's probably the right thing to do. So.
It did sound like they had all the precautions in place, or they were getting ready to, but you know what I mean? You just gotta better safe than sorry in these situations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
exactly.
For sure. In regards to entertainment and what the league is doing, and we talked about this, it was being teased and now it's in full swing. PK Subban has a trivia show. About fucking time, right?
It's not bad.
NHL hat trick trivia show.
It's pretty good.
Really good. I watched the first bit of that. Done really, really well. PK is obviously super charismatic, great host. But
amazing
the way they did it, amazing host. The way they did it with the fan contestants was done really, really well. To kind of break it down, basically, it's a trivia show. They bring a fan on, and they ask them 3 questions. The first question answered correctly gets you a hat. The second question answered correctly gets you a jersey. And the third question answered correctly is an NHL hat trick. And then you also get 2 tickets to a game next season, whenever the fuck that is.
Any game you want, apparently.
Say again?
And it could be any game you want, is what he said.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
So I would pick
Yeah.
I'd pick like a Vegas game, obviously. That's what
You guys are paying for my flights, right?
yeah. Fly me out.
Funnily enough, I didn't watch it till the very end. I think I missed the last contestant, but I'm pretty sure every single contestant got like the first 2 questions right, and then they missed the last question. So
Yeah, to be honest, I
don't
didn't
think
see anyone.
got the
I didn't
no one
see
got the
anyone
tickets.
get all 3. No. There was one part was really funny. They had this chick on who was talking about how she got into hockey from dating this guy in college who was really into sports.
Mhm.
And so when they broke up, she stuck with hockey as a big sport of hers. And right after she had said that, and they had throughout the whole thing, the caveat is they had been bringing people on, different celebrities, but mainly NHL players to kind of help with the questions and stuff like that. So as soon as she's like, yeah, this ex-boyfriend, and PK's like, all right, well, we like to do surprises. We're going to bring a guest on. I was like, yo, please tell me they got her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Please tell me they're about to bring her ex-boyfriend
That'd be
on. This would be
hilarious.
hilarious. Yeah, he's like, what's up? He
Hey,
doesn't know shit
Kelly.
about
Hey,
hockey.
Kelly.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty good.
But the name though, name kind of sucks, right? The NHL hat trick trivia show.
Rash name.
I'm kind of, I feel like they do a lot with the hat trick name. You know what I'm saying? Like there's I feel we could get a little bit more creative.
There's already the NHL hat trick challenge, which in and of
Yeah.
itself is a trivia thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Update it a little bit, be a little creative. We got time here. You know what I'm saying?
You're not wrong.
It's
You're
fucking
not wrong.
time.
They might too. They might come back and throw a different name on it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
That's
Probably
sports for you though. Just always just subpar.
Yeah, always just just real on the nose. This is a hockey trivia show.
Yeah, that's just Canadian media. Just super
Yeah.
bland and boring.
Like poutine, dude.
Looking for a lot of smoke right now.
Yeah, no, send it
Yeah,
all
that
the
kind of
shots.
Blah, blah. And there was a couple players on there. PK, obviously, they had Justin Abelkader. I'm blanking. I feel like there was another guy who Steve Dangle was on there, but there was someone else. They had a celebrity chef too, from Chicago, and I feel like there was another player on there. I'm blanking. Maybe I'm making it up. But they had some cool contestants. The first guy they had on is a cop from St. Louis who actually grew up playing hockey with Pat Maroon. So that was pretty cool.
And then they had Pat Maroon on as the guest.
That's who it was. Thank
Line
you.
of
Yeah, that was it.
questions,
Duh. Yeah, that was the other guy.
That shit was
And
cool.
then another guy who was actually the anthem singer for the Rangers for like 10 years.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so they had they made it a point, it seemed like, to get good contestants who
Yeah.
not just are fans, but have a true attachment to the league in one way or another. So I thought that was pretty fucking dope.
That's pretty cool.
It was very good.
I need to go and check the show out. The hat
dude.
trick trivia show.
Not bad.
For sure.
Not bad.
For
PK
sure.
makes it pretty good. Like,
does.
for whatever faults it has, PK makes it very entertaining.
Word.
Yeah. And to kind of just, to continue the conversation, boys, that's pretty much it as far as topics go. But you know what I'm saying? What do you guys got going on for the rest of the day? What are you guys planning here?
Dude, I've been getting hard into Sons of Anarchy, like mad late to the game. I know Jake has been trying to get
On
me
it,
watch
dude.
for
Tell them
years.
about it.
It's so good. It's so
Such
good.
a good show, dude. Such a good show.
So badass. It reminds me of like going to Locked and Loaded.
For real.
hard,
For real. For real,
Biker
dude.
bars with your parents when you were like 8 and 10, dude.
Yeah,
Our parents
for
were
real.
like low key in a biker gang affiliated, like lowest of keys.
Yeah.
Like not really, but
Jacob's parents too, dude. Your
Oh
mom,
yeah, we
bro.
were all out there, dude. Mom and
Yes.
dad. We were all out there on the motorcycles,
for real,
That's
dude.
hilarious.
bike chains, attacking people. you
We'd
know
be
what
on
I'm
the
saying?
back, you know.
Yeah, just
running
holding on.
guns,
Just
running
holding on.
illegal guns and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big weapon
yeah.
shipments.
A lot of street beef.
A lot
lot
of
of
street
street
beef.
That's
roll up.
funny, dude.
Roll up on the pegs, dude.
But yeah, I just
What about-
started season 3 yesterday, and other than that, that's been pretty much it. Doing a lot more cooking, playing around with different recipes, so that's been fun.
Oh
Dope.
yeah.
Tyson, no Tyson in my
No
kitchen.
Tyson? I don't know, dude. I think it's
Fuck
just
outta here
seasoning
with
and
that.
Tyson, dude. I think
Fuck
it's
out
just
of here with
seasoning
that
and
Tyson shit.
No, he's got the Tyson dinosaur chicken nuggets is what he's
Yeah,
eating.
yeah.
Man.
He's like, but I dropped the red chili pepper flakes on it. You know what I'm
Man.
saying?
Tyson brand too.
Tyson brand red pepper chili flakes.
Damn.
Yeah.
This shit's hilarious. No, man, I need to start the season 3 of Ozark. Speaking of shows, I really need to get on that. That's another great show if you guys haven't watched it.
Haven't, yeah. A lot of people have been talking about Ozark
Yeah.
for sure. Jason Bateman's in that, I think.
Yeah, I think he acts, directs. I think he does like it all. I think he's
Yeah.
like top
Fuck yeah.
down with the shit. So shouts
sick.
out to him.
Yeah, Bateman's good shit.
Great actor.
I know too. I think they're coming out with a new episode of Tiger King. Whatever.
It's like Fox is doing something, aren't they? Or I think Fox is releasing a whole nother basically like a whole nother docu-series on him.
Jeez.
Gotcha.
I guess the Netflix guys are also dropping another episode of just,
Tonight,
like,
I think it's supposed to be some after show thing. My expectations are just super low.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
It's gonna
I think
cash grab it.
we got the most out of it as far as, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been reading some more tidbits and there's been other interviews from the people on it. And there's some pretty crazy shit. Like apparently Joe Exotic was like fucking farm animals.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe
And that Jeff Lowe guy found like an attic full of sex tapes with dude and dude like on sex swings. So
Oh,
like
God.
shit. So shit's brutal. Like shit's brutal.
Oh man.
Yeah, and apparently too, he even allegedly murdered a couple people. Like
Joe
Craigslist-
Exotic or Jeff Lowe?
Joe Exotic was potentially accessory to murder, allegedly, like protesters breaking in, and then people working there having shot those guys, and then those people not making it out alive, and then burying them where they were burying dead animals.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of
Jesus.
shit. There's a lot of shit still coming out about it. And again, I'm all reading this
Yeah.
secondhand from a person who's saying all this, that being that Jeff Lowe guy. So who the fuck knows the credibility of any of it? Could just also be to get more attention. But
I was gonna say, I feel like they had because they were trying to sell this this fucking documentary to TV for a while. So I assume any of the big, crazy, story turns they got in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anything really
Yeah,
worth watching.
exactly. I
So-
mean, everything else, I guess, is hearsay without real credible evidence. But
Well, I'll probably still check it out because what the fuck am I doing besides
Exactly.
playing Warzone and Chell?
yeah, I know.
I have been to no avail, but I have been trying to keep up with the since they reopened the case for what's her name, Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskins.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they didn't open up necessarily a case against her, but they opened up the case on her missing husband again.
Right.
I've been trying to follow that. There hasn't been any new information, but dead ass, I've been looking it up like every other day because she did it.
It's
Like,
interesting.
That bitch did it.
Oh, there's no way she didn't do it. Yeah, there's
She
no
did
way
it.
she didn't do it. 100%.
So,
Or a tiger did it.
Very
It was her
curious
tiger.
to see that went.
Definitely. What else, boys?
I don't
I
know.
don't think there's too much else, man.
What you
Not
been
much
doing?
else.
Done it.
Shit, I've been fucking a little bit with music. I've been trying not to go crazy, to be honest, man. It's starting to get to me. It's starting to get to me, dude. I'm getting to the point where I'm back on my old ways. Like I'm about to get back to all my bullshit where I'm just fucking agitated and I'm ready to fight and fucking start arguments and just fucking get in shit with anybody who fucking wants it. That's kind of where I'm at.
I
So
saw you going at the Trap's lead singer there. You're going hard at Trap's lead singer, dude.
Yo, if you
Invite
like
him to the
Trap,
state.
you like Trap, unsubscribe to this podcast, fucking come see me. I will smack the fuck out of you thinking you're the lead singer of Trap. Fuck Trap, fuck Headstrong, fuck that genre of rock music. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm done, dude. I'm straight up done, dude. That guy was
Oh, man,
online.
dude.
That guy was
That
online
team-
cyberbullying
so
fucking
easy.
band members of bands that I fuck with and fucking metalcore kids. I grew up in that scene. That fucking music has saved my life multiple times, dude. Fuck that guy, dude. He's a hater and a fucking bully, dude. I don't give a fuck.
Dude,
You see where I'm at.
He was just
Telling you,
saying.
man.
this shit is hilarious, dude.
For real, dude. I'm not fucking tripping. I'm not fronting either, dude. I'm on one. I probably after today or after this, I'll probably fucking do some more music shit maybe, but otherwise it's just gonna be fucking Warzone and Shell till my eyes bleed, boys.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That's all
Yeah.
about. Jacob, I know you got some Easter shit, but hit me up, dude. We'll do some Warzone, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, absolutely. Do some Warzone, then we got some cancellation cup to do after that. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
But
Yep.
definitely have to get James in on that too.
Thank God we had Chris on earlier to kind of explain the whole tournament better than we have been. So that was good. He was able to lay the whole thing out. So that was nice.
Yeah. Oh man.
But I guess that's it, boys. This was episode 59. Jacob,
What up?
hit him with the plug.
You can get us at Talkin' Sauce Pod, no underscore, respect the underscore. Hit us up or watch the tournament at Cancellation Cup. Follow Chris at Hockey NC. Again, shouts out to him for coming on. Follow me at Jaycobb, JAY_COBBB. Josh, where they get you at?
You can follow me at Teebs, Teabzz. You can catch me talking shit to people, talking shit to Schoolboy Q.
Dylan, where they can get you at?
You teabags, you moms, 69420, lowercase x, capital X, on Reddit. Figure it out.
Dude.